I went in and I did CPR, and I was crying. I was holding her hand, and I was telling her, please wake up, please, wake up. I kept doing CPR, and to the point that they eventually just, pulled me off and said she's not coming back. So it's I don't sleep at night properly. It's been, nearly 3.5 weeks. It's literally been the worst time of my life.
Amid that grief of a husband lost in loss, there is the question, how did this happen? Markham Stouffville Hospital's head of communications has confirmed that an internal investigation was launched on February 10th, the day that Riaz died. At that time, we immediately implemented protocols consistent with an outbreak. Like all hospitals, we have an obligation to report Group A strep cases to public health, and we did so immediately. And strep A remains a very serious issue across the country. Strep A is a common bacteria. It's not commonly a killer, though, but reported cases of dangerous infections of so-called invasive strep A are on the rise. Nicole Ireland has more on what health authorities know, more importantly, what they're doing about it.
Then you gotta pick up a card. Pick up a card, Care Bear.
Carrie Kirkness and her family are trying to live as normally as they can. A year after what she thought was the flu and a simple bruise on her arm changed her life forever.
I went to the walk-in and they had told me it was just a bruise and to sleep it off.
But that bruise grew more painful and she went to the hospital. What happened next is the stuff of nightmares. Kirkness had necrotizing fasciitis, or flesh-eating disease, caused by invasive Group A strep. To save her life, surgeons had to amputate one of her arms and both legs. When she woke up from surgery, her mother Loretta broke the news.
She was telling me that God had saved my arm because I can hold my babies, I could hug them.
Those babies, her sons Andrew and Chaz, have given Kirkness the strength to keep going. Her parents bought a one-level house to accommodate the wheelchair she now relies on.
Sometimes I get angry because I want to be the one to do things for myself. But at the same time, I'm so thankful for the family.
To this day, they have no idea how this happened.
It was just something freaky is what I get a lot of people say, like in the medical field.
That's because the reasons why Group A strep bacteria can turn nasty are still somewhat of a medical mystery.
Very challenging to explain why certain people are going to get Group A streptococcus infection, especially invasive Group A streptococcus infection, and others might not.
Group A streptococcus lives all around us. The most common infection it causes is strep throat. But in rare cases, the bacteria goes deeper into the body, including the bloodstream, muscles, or organs. That's when it becomes invasive strep A and causes serious infections. The most life-threatening are streptococcal toxic shock syndrome and flesh-eating disease. With more than 200 different strains of Group A strep, researchers are trying to figure out if some types are more likely to become invasive and if some people are more at risk.
Some people might have subtle deficits to their immune system or major deficits to their immune system that might make them more predisposed to having an invasive infection.
There are two factors experts already know increase the risk of infection: homelessness and injection drug use. We met a woman who struggles with both in London, Ontario. She got flesh-eating disease last spring. We're concealing her identity because of the stigma she faces.
It looks like a shark bit me, bit my half my foot off, leg off. It's pain because it's healing.
Here at the Public Health Ontario lab in Toronto, staff analyze invasive Group A strep samples taken from patients across the province. For some, like the homeless woman from London, experts can pinpoint how the infection might have happened. But for many other patients, it seemingly comes out of nowhere.
Sometimes we don't have a risk factor that we can identify. So what we continue to do is, with each and every case, try to understand a little bit more about them.
Adding to the mystery is the fact that invasive Group A strep infections are on the rise. The number of reported cases per year in Canada has doubled since 2002. There were more than 2,000 cases of invasive Group A strep across the country last year alone. More than 100 of those patients died.
I think we're still trying to understand this increase that we've been seeing.
just grab me, like manhandle me up.
Carrie Kirkness hopes that understanding comes sooner rather than later.
Ready? 1, 2,
2, 3.
So health experts can prevent others from suffering the way she has.
Try some more.
And Nicole joins us now. I mean, obviously these are very rare, but still very frightening cases. And I'm imagining people at home wondering what on earth they should do.
Absolutely. Well, don't panic, first of all, the experts say. Also, really, the basic kind of hygiene and precautionary measures you would take with any infection. So hand washing, if you get a cut or a bruise, make sure it's clean. If it doesn't heal, seek medical attention. If you have something like strep throat, finish all your antibiotics and seek, again, medical attention if it doesn't heal.
Simple but smart.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.